Here we go. Jin Air versus CLG, Game 1 semifinals. So Gragaspan expected, that's for Xmithy. Leaspan, that's Xmithy's other good champion. Lulu is gone from Jin Air. Tom Kench, Rise is banned. Now here's the last one. What are they going to ban last? Gangplank? I have no idea if Jin Air plays Gangplank. Absolutely no idea.
Okay, so
Kindred.
I didn't expect the Lee Sin ban,
Okay.
of course. That's a little bit of a low priority, even if it's
Right.
just
Jin Air, I think,
supposedly
ran
main
Kindred, maybe.
champion, but
Did they
given
run Kindred in
fairness,
Caspa
the
Cup?
other, you're
Can't
saying,
remember.
You know what, just take it. We'll deal with it another way.
Now, if we're thinking about these teams, Darshan, Science Barn is one of the main carries for CLG. I assume there's still top bot
Well, I mean, if you can play Lee Sin,
priority, with
Rek'Sai has
Hui
some bare minimum
being
mechanics, so I'm pretty sure
last
he can
priority.
handle it, so they're not too worried about
Which
it
means
being
they
taken
probably
away.
will
Smithy
last
does play
pick
a
for
lot of Lee Sin.
Darshan.
He's actually a pretty good
he's good
player.
at it.
Yep.
Right.
But
By taking Callista, that means they have a really good early game so far. There's someone who can really pressure, and then it automatically appears in your mind, do we want to lane swap? So if Jin Air thinks, okay, maybe they want to lane swap, then they can work around that. What does CLG want to take first? Obviously take your jungle first, and then take something else.
Okay, and the Calista
I would
pickup,
really
not
love
be
if they
surprised,
take
especially for a lot
Lissandra,
of
not
players
now,
in
but
general,
later.
especially for
Lissandra
Korea
is
and
great
Pilot,
at roaming,
one
she
of
has
the
good
better
lockup
AD
damage,
carries,
and
easily
Ashe is not
rising
nerfed
up
yet.
in the
So
Korean
this is
region. And there
actually
is Lee Sin, so
a
he's gonna
good
take
pick.
it, but like you guys mentioned, it's not
And
just
Ashe has
the
always
steal.
been a decent pick
He is
into
pretty
Callista,
darn
with
good at
Tristana
Lee
being the
Sin.
main
Actually, I hope they
choice
pick
that you would
Lissandra
always
here
go
just
to.
get some hard CC. One of Ashe's problems is she's not exactly the most mobile champion, and if she starts dying in the early game, it just like we've seen so many games.
They
Where
take
Ashe
Lee
will
Sin.
end up with, like,
Xmithy's
8,
actually
9
been,
deaths, and
actually that's
it's just
probably,
horrible. So I really hope I see a Lissandra here so they can get off some nice flank plays.
that's probably one of Xmithy's better champions as well, as Lee Sin. Now if they take Rek'Sai, that's more early pressure. If they take Lissandra, they have a lot of good early game choices right now. So they have Calista, who's good in late, they have Lissandra, who's good in late, and she has roam priority, probably against whatever CLG is going to run. Then they have
That's why I
Rek'Sai,
think Valley is always a great pick in mid, but no one really
also
uses him.
early focused, but then also can use his ult to go to make cross-map plays. What does CLG want to match this with, though? Not Kassadin.
Pretty cheap too.
Yeah, okay.
I really like the Lissandra though, also because it's an ambiguous pick. Like they haven't really shown what lane it's going to be showing up in, so it could even still go into the top lane. It's actually pretty good against like Renekton and a lot of the melee matchups. You can just kite them out.
What do they want to go against this top spot? They have a lot early. If you have Ashe, then you have some initiation there, and you can focus fire on one person. They're definitely taking their support next. Alistar would be good, because he can pulverize when Lissandra walks in.
How good's the Zir? Literally no one
Yes,
knows CLG
excellent.
numbers here. And so
If I'm Jin Air, what do I want to pick?
Very smart. You mentioned the Lissandra flex pick. Make sure that lane goes well, because Darshan's been a big reason that CLG is good. And pick up reasonably safe mid laner otherwise.
So the issue that I have coming in with this Azir here is that Azir can't really realistically take teleport because the pressure that he can, but the pressure difference
Probably want to take
massive because Azir needs to set up those soldiers to be effective in a team fight engage, and he can look for those fancy Emperor's Divide.
Typically, if you go Lissandra, you can match her with a split push top laner, who then will give you soul focus fire when you use Lissandra ult on a person, and it can be really devastating. Typically, you would see Fiora tagged on here, but we'll see. And be right back. I gotta do something quick.
I mean, that's, so far it also seems like CLG making sure they have all these options to protect Ashe if someone were to try to dive in. You got that Alistar, you got the Emperor's Divide, you've got, of course, Lee Sin with his kick too.
I actually really like the Kennen pick here if they pick it for support. I feel like if you can just chuck him in on top of the Ashe, then Alistar is forced to use his combo to pretty much punt the Kennen out, and that's a support that you're wasting your combo on. So if he doesn't do that, then Ashe is just going to get locked up, and Riven can just easily come in with Lissandra. So really big wombo.
Yeah, honestly, Jin Air have a ton of really safe champions against Ashe Air, right? The Ashe pick really early on is, I mean, it's a Jin Air special, but they already picked up Calista for themselves, so it wasn't exactly contested anymore. And then pretty much down the line, every single one of these champions has a way to outplay Ashe. Aside from Calista herself, if she gets arrowed, she's kind of done for, but like, yeah, everyone else can get away from that pick potential.
Yeah, and also, you know, picking up that Riven for that snowball factor, of course, Darshan played it yesterday. He sounded not too pleased with it, but it is one of his favorite champions. So we'll see what else.
Usually Sowons as well.
Right.
So it's like, you know, here's your international debut. Go play your best champion.
Yeah. Well, hey, what a better way to kick things off here. Darshan, so is there anything particular that CLG is missing then?
I mean, they'll probably end up picking like a Renekton or something into Riven. Like Riven, to be honest, right now doesn't have.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Well,
Okay.
Never mind.
3 weeks late. We almost had a Jax at Worlds.
Yeah.
Had to settle for having it here at IEM San Jose. Pretty much the last competitive tournament on the before we hit
before we hit the
preseason
new
batches, the
season and
2016
with everything.
changes. Yeah, for those watching at home who aren't aware, we are on 521 here, so none of the crazy stuff. That's why we're not
No
seeing Graves.
Gwinsus. Let's all calm
No,
down.
no
Solo
Ginsu's
queue
Rage Blade
all-stars.
spam.
What a great
Yeah.
item.
But yeah, the Jax starting all of a sudden off a little bit. But of course, I mean, Jax, regardless of which patch he's been on, he's one of those champions. And if you get rolling, he's also a little bit snowballing. I mean, he will always reach that unstoppable moment if you let him keep just farming away.
Yeah, the 2v2s in the top lane are going to be the big decider in this game because what's going to happen is one person's going to die, their TP's going to have to get blown to go back to turret, and then you've seen it so many times this tournament where they set up the TP play behind the bot turret, and if you can just get on top of Ashe with the Riven, such an easy tower dive.
All right, well, CLG looking to stay alive in this tournament and reach the finals. Meanwhile, Jinair trying to make a mark with their international debut. To bring us this game, it is Doa, Monte Cristo, and Crepo.
Hey guys, are you ready? Jinair versus CLG, the semi-untested Jinair roster. We saw them a little bit in the Kespa Cup versus the NA champions, but they've got a new roster as well. A lot of questions, but I feel like Jinair, we talked about it in the pregame show, guys. They've had a lot of experience on this patch, on 5.1. Do you think that's all it's going to take? The answer is no, but I want you to expand on that, obviously.
I mean, coming in, yes, they have had the most experience, but they've also shown the most, right? They only had 5 games, but that's enough to get at least some sort of a read on this team. And they are a bit reckless. This is very different from the old style of Jinair with these new players. They were definitely much more aggressive out of the laning phase than we've typically seen. And old Jinair played a very defensive style. Trace playing a tank, GBM playing a very defensive style of mid lane, and we're going to see how they've evolved, really.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I mean, and Jinair really was in need of a bit of revitalization. CLG seemingly as well.
Yeah, some interesting compositions though that they ran. I really feel like the Jinair composition is really like, it's like a shotgun. One bullet, like, and then you need to blow them up. And if they're not dead by then, you probably will kind of get countered here. CLG they really want to kite. So I always like seeing when teams have very stylistic different compositions, because it shows you like if they understand theirs and the opponent's composition, and if they can play around that.
Well, here we go, guys. Welcome to Summoner's Rift, Game 1 between the Jinair Green Wings and CLG. Some wards going down, but not too deeply in the early game. This Jax pick, though, by Darshan, I mean, we were talking about it during picks and bans. We thought they were going to go for a tank or something like that. Can this Jax do anything?
I'm just keeping my eyes here on Stixay. So it looks like CLG wants to keep Darshan away from this Riven early to make sure that he doesn't really lose that lane. And they snuck in Stixay early into that lane buff and then path him over the ward. So that's interesting from CLG side. Usually it's something we haven't really seen before anymore, because doing that, you kind of lose the map control early if you get invaded.
Yeah. As for this Jax, I have to say I'm a bit worried. Yes, it'll be very strong in a split push situation, but with the amount of crowd control that Jinair is running, it's not going to be very easy to team fight in the late game. I mean, he's got to deal with Kennen and Lissandra ults, a lot of knockups and stuns, so he's going to be target number 1 for Jinair if they get into any kind of team fight, and their wombo combo is very powerful.
I think if Darshan wants to have an impact in this game, he needs to flank. He needs to come from the side with a teleport home guards or something, and then pop his E and then flash in, stun maybe 2 people. And there's
pause. All right, well,
more time to talk about Jax.
You know, to be fair, Darshan did a great job of split pushing yesterday.
Yep.
He was able to get a lot done in the games we saw. So, I mean, it does kind of fit what CLG's been kind of doing this weekend already.
But they have to show something different here, right? What I really, really liked about Jinair's draft, they're starting on the blue side, so they freed up a couple of extra picks. Gangplank surprisingly fell all the way through the picks and bans in this game. But Jinair, they banned Graukus, which we saw CLG have a lot of success with yesterday. They ban out the Rise, and then they take the Riven blind. So what this says to me is, this is Jinair. They're trying to test out and see what else CLG has.
Yeah.
So it's just
Well, sorry for
number
going
one, but
away
they've
for a second.
taken
I had to
away
take care
a
of
lot
something
the
really
comfort
quickly.
that we saw from Counter Logic Gaming yesterday, and now it's how deep do CLG's champion pools and strategies go?
Yeah, provided you can actually
But
play those
if I
champions
recall
early,
correctly
still,
from
I
when I
think
saw
that's
last
a
time, they
really
took
strategy to go into
Alistar,
game.
which is
Yeah,
smart
so
because
we
it
know
can
Swan
stop
can play Riven, that's
Lissandra
for
from going
sure.
in
He's
with
played 5 competitive
Pulverize.
games in his history.
They took
3 of them are on Riven. He's 1 and 2 on Riven so far.
they have
But
Ashe for
he is
engage,
known as a
Lee
Riven
Sin,
one-trick
who can
pony
follow up
in
Ashe
Korean
Arrow.
solo queue. So
He can
it's
also use
probably
it to
his most
peel if he
comfortable
wants to.
champion. It fits the meta right now, so taking
They
it away,
have.
I think he's going to be okay.
And looks like
I'm really
the
not
problem
sure
is
what
with
they took for
Six's
top lane.
computer. So we'll see if we
I'm
can
not
get that
sure
fixed.
what
Fixade?
Jin Air took for their 2
I don't know
second
where I was going with
rotations,
that. And this is a match that's
but
you
we'll
know,
find
again,
out in a bit.
kind of hard to
I'm
call,
actually really glad I
but,
did not miss anything.
You know what? I'm still.
And it's gonna be a little
sad that
weird
GBM is gone from Jin Air. I missed the
that-
bow ties already.
If you look at the
I
past
miss the
broadcasts
attitude. I don't
or a
miss
video,
play
you'll
so
see
much
that
'cause
I'm
it's kinda
gone for a little
slow,
bit,
kinda
but
boring.
for those who
I
are
love
wondering,
this play.
again, I
miss
just
the
had to go away for a
person- yeah,
second.
you would.
Actually, it wasn't a second, for like a couple minutes. Didn't miss anything excellent.
How about you,
We can
Crepo?
still talk about a lot about strategy.
Come on, be honest
I
here.
do wish I knew what the comps were still, just because I could talk even more, but for now we'll just sit and wait.
I meant what kind of games do you like?
Oh, what kind of games?
Yeah.
I wish they showed like the champions though,
You
unlike
also play-
some kind of,
yeah,
unlike
I like
instead
that.
of saying their
I
names,
like-
they should show
I
the
like
champions. That'd be pretty
eliminating
cool.
choice. Forcing, you know how you have like forced errors. Those are the ones I like the most, where you force people into either a really bad decision
I guess this is
or a
actually
super bad decision.
legit
Okay.
pause.
So firmly against
Might
strategic
take a while.
diversity. Wow, I don't know. That's a bold statement to make, Crepo.
No,
Yeah.
strategic diversity is fine as long as you use it to your advantage and you.
People are saying
Out-diverse your
Jax.
I see. Well,
Out diverse.
out
Put that on the wall for a quote.
That's see. Whenever I lose a game of solo queue, that's what I think. I'm like, oh, I've been out diverse. Oh, man, if only I had just did more different
Interesting.
things in that game.
Like not feed,
It's-
for example.
It's tough. Yeah. Well, I mean, you do it a little bit, and then you like steal a kill here and there, and then your Vayne gets mad and like AFKs. There's 3 things already that your team is doing. It's quite diverse. Yeah, but yet it doesn't work. Well, we've got large amounts of people working on Stixay's computer right now.
Yeah, they're still
That's
fixing
right.
his
I
computer.
confirm the sound is on. Okay.
Riven.
Next guy.
There we go. Bingo.
Is
That's what they
plugged in.
picked.
We'll
They
build him a
picked
new one,
Riven
yeah,
with
we'll start.
Lissandra, so you can have
I've got
Focus
the-
Fire
the case.
when you lose. When you do
Do you?
Lissandra
I do.
ult.
It's under the desk.
They selected
I'm putting
Callista.
in an Intel
So you have
CPU,
Callista,
of course.
Lissandra, and Riven. Those
The
are
fastest
all
and best
good
CPUs of all.
early to mid
I
game
can't build a
champions,
PC.
so they want to
really?
snowball
It's not
early.
that
So
hard.
I guess the best
Not bad.
options to look for.
I have to confess, I let
I
somebody
assume
build
they
mine.
picked Azir,
Oh, it's okay.
I'm
if
not
I
a true
recall.
gamer.
A lot of people.
I'm just a fraud.
which means Azir can be
Wow.
caught out by
We're
Lissandra.
learning a lot about you. I feel like in this
They
pause,
took-
Crepo.
Yeah, can this game start
Rek'Sai.
already before I start talking about the deep dark?
Honestly, he has a lot of options on where he can go. If he goes
Yeah,
mid
I bought a
and he
used one on
gets
Craigslist. I don't even know its
Kuzan
name.
ahead,
It just had,
Kuzan
a
can
lot of
roam
big, bright colored
sooner
fans
when
on
he
the
hits
side.
level
I'm like,
6
"Ooh, that looks like a
and
gaming
help
computer.
impact the game.
That looks like our trophy.
if
is.
he decides to
Looks
go
like the game
top,
that came down in the
and
sky
Riven
in Reboot,
snowballs,
remember that?
then she will
Or
get
an
out of
incoming
control,
game.
and then he can have all
I
that
don't
pressure
remember
top lane,
that.
and then
Yeah, like
smokes
when
mid
a
and
game
bot.
was gonna be played, like there's a square
Bot
opened
lane
up
level
and something came
6
down
would
like
be a
that.
really good lane to gank. I think they went Kennen as well, because
can't.
Callista's ultimate will pull Kennen out
It
to
is.
de-aggro, so you
Believe
can
it or
actually
not,
get
the
the
CG
maximum
did
number of
not
turret
stand
shots
the
in.
test of time.
Maybe even an
But those
extra turret
graphic
shot,
components
honestly,
are
if you
still
pull
great,
them
so I
out in
don't know what
time.
the deal is.
I think one had a lot more of a
The
budget.
Maybe.
CLG
Slightly
composition,
more.
though, is
I didn't see Steven
much
Spielberg
more
attached to the
kiting
reboot
slash
last I checked.
Maybe he should be for the
engage
reboot.
oriented.
The reboot.
They could actually get
Do
a
you
lot of
currently
work
do
done
that?
if they hit an Ashe Arrow, followed by Lee Sin and
We kind of left Crepo out of that conversation, didn't we?
Azir damage.
Well, sorry, man.
You'll have to wait for the Spielberg reboot.
In terms of
reboot to
actual
understand what I'm
engage
talking
on
about.
Jin
Should I
Air, though,
update it a little bit? Should we jump ahead in time?
I wouldn't view
While-
Kennen as an actual good engage tool.
Maybe Teletubbies?
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
I want some
view
SpongeBob here.
Riven
Reboot
as a good
is
engage
like
tool.
in
Okay.
3D.
Rek'Sai's not a
Virtual
great
reality
engage tool.
SpongeBob. Yeah.
Honestly,
Virtual
overall,
reality.
Jin Air doesn't have the
What was
best
that
engage
called?
tools.
A sensation of drowning because we're not sea
And yes, they
creatures,
did
we can't
do
breathe
Monty
underwater.
Doe, which I'm glad.
Yeah, he's a sponge. A walking sponge. I mean, I don't know, man.
That's what SpongeBob is. I always
Thanks for
wondered.
clarification.
yeah, just for the people out there.
SpongeBob is
His
a
name is
walking
Bob.
So
sponge.
Jin Air with not
That's
much
Sponge.
initiation,
That's
CLG with a lot of initiation. If CLG is more
I actually never
proactive
watched
than
SpongeBob
Jin
either.
Air,
Wow.
I played too many video
they'll
games, man.
dominate this
The
game.
Lord of Lies over
If
here,
CLG
man.
uses better
He's
map
just a fraud.
rotations, they will
I
dominate
just read
this
up
game.
reviews online and I
Like
tell people that I
fighting,
know
like
everything.
doing a 5-on-5
This is
fight
chronic
is not really
flying that.
easy
But
for
if you're gonna
Jin Air's
do a
comp.
con,
They basically have to have like a Riven or a Lissandra
I think if
flank.
you're gonna be a compulsive liar, it's best to have it be things about
And
I watched
if
SpongeBob when you actually didn't.
CLG tries to
Well,
push in, they
Looks
just
like a
pop the cannon
slight
ultimate.
lead for Jin Air in terms of the fan vote, and I
It's
think that's appropriate.
yeah,
I
this
think
will be a
that's
very
about where I'd put it
interesting
too. I
game on
think
how
Jin
it
Air
plays out in the
does have a
like
bit
the
of an
early
edge,
game is going to
but
decide
it
this
could
game
go
in
either
my
way.
opinion.
I think we're finally gonna get a game 3 out of this series. What do you guys think?
I think it seems pretty likely. Like I said, it just depends. So at the World Championship, CLG came in, and when Lulu Mid was banned, they went 0-4. And they looked good with that fast push strategy with the Lulu Mid and putting on a lot of early pressure. but they
Us
couldn't really
deciding what
figure
they
out how
did
to
during
play
Worlds.
any
They
other
aren't
way
the
for
same
the
team
rest of
though.
the
They
group
don't
stage.
have to do
So
this
we've
kind of like
seen them
fast
play,
push compositions
so
anymore.
far, you know,
They
with
can
this
play around
progress.
Zion a lot.
Is that the key to
They can
breaking
play around
CLG
Zion,
here
basically.
too? How deep can they go strategically?
Yeah, and
I'm
it
curious
doesn't
about
even
though
only count
is
for CLG. So
I
many
still don't know
teams,
what
especially
Darshan
when newly formed, they
pick
latch
top
on to
lane.
maybe 1 or 2 key strategies in the limited amount of time practice that they have to really perfect. And if teams don't really ban that out, they can run that throughout the entire tournament. But then suddenly, if you have a really smart pick ban strategy where you get to ban to steal another 2 champions away, then you often see these teams crumble. So that could very well happen to CLG because they're right now, they're running a risky composition. If they get snowballed on, it's so easy for Green Wings to just, execute so much CC.
I'm running out of stuff to
Every
talk
single
about.
champion
Oh, lane
could
swap.
produce one hard CC component. That is the key to snowballing.
CLG wants to do it. CLG would want to invade, force the lane swap. They're not risking trying to predict if
You talked about the teleport flanks from
Jin Air
Jax,
will
but
match it.
it's all up to Darshan because he has to play around the
And I don't think
Lissandra
Jin Air
lane.
is as
Like,
ballsy
that's
as
the key for him is that he's going to be coming in
SKT,
late to clean
and
up
the fact
these
that
teamfights. He goes
SKT
in
would
early,
let
and he
a
is going
team
to get
invade,
mauled by the crowd control
and then they would
from
send their
Jin Air,
duel
and
into
they need
the
him to be effective and deal
invaded
damage.
area,
Seems like
and then
an
even
endless
harass
engage from Jin Air, but
the
I've got
enemy
good news,
team
guys.
that
It's
invaded
time
and is trying to
to move
start
it
in
back
their
into the
jungle.
game between
And
Jin Air
wow,
CLG.
we're 2 minutes and
Here we
17
go.
seconds in.
Yet again, Pilot down in that
And
bot
look
lane,
at that,
just on his own,
CLG
farming a little bit. Shay tries to
lane
harass.
swap.
Let's see what he can do with the blue buff.
But they didn't invade,
Maybe not much.
which means
That's
they
always doing.
Okay. Oh, Smithy and Darshan are just going to bypass it.
Yeah,
they
they
took
actually
the
ran all
the
way
risk
across the map,
amount
so
of
Darshan
not
intentionally showed
invade.
on the ward
They
at the
took the
top
risk
side
of
drive rush
not
just to
knowing
make,
if
it look
Jin Air
deceptive
would
that
match
they
them.
were going to be
Interesting.
using the Jax in the top lane.
And they ran
And they still got
Jax.
2 camps at the other side.
Yeah,
That's
that's
probably the
100%
most you can get.
lane swap.
Otherwise, so Jin Air Green Wings, they get the full 3 camps on the left side though. There was no harass, no walking in from Aftermoon, because it's, as a melee support, it's kind of risky, so CLG actually just opted to do with camps.
And it looks like Jin Air started weak side.
This leaves Xmiffy with very little jungle camp, so we may see a
Yes.
fast push
Oh
Look at
man.
that. Shay just harassing Huhi.
Looks like Jin Air.
Let Kuzan get a little bit more farm.
Oh,
That is some
the Jin
dedicated
Air
running from that support.
invade.
Yeah, one thing I noticed
No,
about
'cause those
Jin
wards
Air's
are way
lane
too late.
swaps in the Kespa Cup is that they were less concerned with fast pushing down a tower in a lane swap.
But this is pretty bad.
And in fact, in several of the
In the
games,
terms that
they
it just gives,
decided to actually try and defend
like Smithy less
2v4.
things
So
to do.
They are a little bit. Now we are going to see the fast push here, but take a look.
Yes,
out for that
they're
in
using
later
all
games
4 in
because
this
they were
case.
Playing around with some different aspects of the meta, I would say.
Wow, Kuzan getting poked really hard here. Huhi with not a ton of mana left over though, so neither player can get
Interesting.
ultra aggressive right now in the mid lane.
Jin Air starts
We'll
weak
see.
side,
CLG
denies
looks like
them
they should be able to
farm in
take
case
this
they
turret.
get lane swapped on.
Didn't see what the health was.
Rotate
down
down
at
to
the
a
bottom for
4-man
Jin Air, but yeah, they'll
push,
get this one as well. So, looks like
who I
the team
assume
will
they're
just
doing
trade
this for
tier ones
Riven, not
early
Kalista.
on, and we'll see where things go from there.
My question is who's going to get the gold right here because it looks like.
Oh, they're doing it for
over to
Kalista.
Pilot.
Okay.
And meanwhile, Jax is going to take the gold on the top side. So a little bit of a different strategy. But if we
You'd think
do
you want to
end up
starve
in
the
2v2
Jax out
now,
more because
then
his
there
power
could be some
spikes
advantages. Of course,
are
that
much harder to
Kalista
achieve
Cannon
than
lane is
Riven.
extraordinarily strong in a 2v2.
More importantly, there's no way to run. Like Stixay and Aframo are playing on a lane with no tower from behind, so ganks get opened up really easily, especially against a Rek'Sai who can get
I would
over
prefer
these
having
walls,
ganks
so
on the
warding
Jax,
patterns
though.
will have to change a little bit for extra security. But in the top lane, the cornerstone of CLG's composition is the Jax. He got a bounced wave. Teleport is still up. He's now probably pushing it out because he knows somebody's coming to defend it.
Oh, but I mean by
And this will probably
ganks on the
snowball
Jax,
Darshan
I
in.
mean having
That's what CLG's hoping it is.
Kalista
See how much
against
you
the
can get from this.
Jax
Meanwhile,
to
it
push
needs
him
to be
away and
recalled,
deny him more farm.
Pilot
And
Shay, so they're
like
gonna
I feel
head
like it's
back
better
and
to
pick
have
up this
Riven
wave
get denied
and
farm
really attempt to make a
while
play
Jax
on
get
this
denied
long
farm
line-
instead of
lane, like you said, Crepo,
trying to
be
abuse
into
the
mid
2v2.
lane for Kuzan, so that's not going to be available.
Yeah, we're gonna need to see Xmiffy go down to the lane, secure the
That's
push, make
interesting.
sure that the wave resets. This is a crucial point right here.
And meanwhile, in top
Now,
side, so on
what?
up
Let's see. What
early
did I
towards
say
lane
about
because
Wings?
of that
I said
early
that he can
recall,
focus
so
Right.
he is
any
gonna be
lane
feeling relatively
with the option is if he focuses mid, then he's going to be trying to pressure His goal is to have mid snowball his lead
Should be able to get some damage done
to be able to apply more map pressure
really
himself.
far without a ton of vision. They're actually just going to go diving down after
This is
XQC
smart by
shows up.
CLG
They
though.
just want to keep fast pushing.
And the other option for Winged would be to target top lane to snowball that.
Show Xmithy. And so they gained about 5 CS in total by denying them off the turret. But I'm not sure that's going to be entirely relevant. And showing Xmithy for that long is kind of a comfort for the Jin Air top lane of Sowan to play further forward.
Also, it loses them tempo. They show Xmithy, that means he did those 2 camps before he came here. Now they know Xmithy has to path all the way to the other side of the map if he wants farm. That actually gives a really good ganked opportunity for Winged later on, because if that lane stays in that same spot, it's so hard for Stixxay and Afromu to get away from
I understand what they're talking about in the strategic sense that it does show that Xmithy has to rotate towards that top side, which allows Wing to go to that top side as well. But tonight some farm and delaying the, even if they miss any experience,
You know, Sowan, we just saw
it could go a long ways. You'll hit level 6 first, and you hit level 6 first on CLG with Ashe and Alistar before Pilot hits level 6. You can get a quick kill, so we'll have to watch out for that later. Xmithy, in terms of targeting lanes, Azir is a no-go, really. Bot, it'd have to be between bot and top.
Whoa, flash engage by Afromu onto Che, but no real follow-up for CLG.
Why the hell did he do that?
Kind of curious what the plan was there.
Yeah, that was actually
very
quite
strange.
odd. We just kind of caught the tail end of that, so we'll see what actually ended up happening, but nothing at all. Very bizarre.
You would think they would do that when he hits level 6, not when he's level 5.
Flash forward, there was no threat on Stixxay whatsoever.
Maybe they thought that Winged was coming in from the side, and they thought they could start something to break it up a little bit. I don't know.
They're probably looking for a TP
That makes
play.
no sense.
That could be it, you know, where they said
Could be.
Darshan TP on the ward, we're going in for the play, but he's stuck on his tower, so there's no way that is conceivable, really.
Right, and the stun, too, coming in from Riven would have been a really easy TP cancel from Sowan there, so that looked like a miscommunication.
Yeah, seems to be. And again, the CLG team certainly working with a new roster.
So,
You're gonna have those moments
we have
early on,
Jin Air,
sometimes much later on,
who's
too, as we've seen
playing
from
out standard
It
lanes.
really looks to me like,
Which again, it's not bad, but I really would have liked to see them pressure Kalista on Jax and delay him even harder.
With kid gloves here. They're trying to make it as easy
Now that
as
he's level
possible
7,
for him.
Kuzan, he has
They
roam
seem
priority.
really concerned with him
He
being
can get a
able
lot
to
done.
do.
Yeah, the first game especially, he got the daycare treatment. He got a level 3 gang.
All he
then
has to
mid
do is
laner
push in the
jungle returned
lane,
to roam, people were zoned off the tower.
and
I
then
mean, it was
look
solid macro
bot,
play, but it
which has a
kinda
lot of
beat
openings,
Stixxay in terms of
or look
evaluation. We
top
don't know
lane.
how good he is. Right now, though, he's basically
They have
picking
more
up a
wards
BF
on
sword,
top lane,
and that
which makes
actually
me say that
puts
they're
the
looking
Kalista
top
matchup
lane.
really in favor of the Ash. BF sword into cover.
At least
is one
Kuzan
of the
would look
worst
top
breaking
lane.
points. If you then get ahead, you can go BF sword pickaxe, and you can really start destroying this matchup. So Stixxay
What
could get
CLG
an
is
advantage right
doing.
now.
Okay, so they have a massive wave. So what their idea here is saying, okay, we want to try to deny this farm from you as much as we can.
Yeah,
So we
looks
want to get
like,
this pushed into the
they are
turret.
trying to make a play on the top side right now. CLG saw the deep wards come in from Jin
If
Air.
this
They know
was
there's a way to
patch
the turret because they have that
5.22,
Wolf Spirit
they would have
flying
had
out.
Herald
Good reaction
right
from
then and
CLG
there.
to just ward the opposite side of the enemy jungle.
And they're
They're going to
avoiding.
try and make a play right now, looks like.
Yeah, they're avoiding the long lane in the bottom by just simply putting Stixxay mid. The zone control.
I
from
think
that
the
arrow
most
on the
important
bottom
thing to
and
note
the
here
CC is actually might
is
be
what
useful.
happens when they
CC
do
is
this.
only
So
in mid lane.
by
Everything
targeting
from
mid
Jin Air
lane,
on their way to mid lane.
excuse
They
me,
wanna
like this,
stop CLG from taking this
they are
forward if they
splitting
can.
farm.
We'll see if we get a fight out of this. Looks like for now the wave clear is just fine.
if I'm Jin
No
Air,
engage just yet, and CLG, you know, could this all be part of a plan to get a good position on the
I mean,
dragon?
like the problem is
It
like
gets you the
I
position
would
on the dragon.
I would
More
love
importantly,
to
it
have
breaks
them
the
to
freeze
say,
on
you know,
bottom lane
screw it,
too.
you know, you
Kalista
can
now is
have
forced to push
this
out,
turret,
the waves
or
going
we can
out,
try to
so
delay this turret as
Stixxay
long
really
as we
couldn't do
can,
anything in this time in the
while we
bottom. So
soak
he
up
just
farm in
decided
the
to
other
run out on the map,
lanes.
deny some
But the
CS
problem
to
is by
Kalista,
losing
now
mid
it's
T1,
forced
that
to run to
gives
mid lane.
Hui.
Riven, but they're going to come in with a TP.
They are indeed. Sowan coming from behind with Riven. CLG turns immediately,
This could
though, so
be-
this engage isn't going to work at least. Oh, Sowan going in anyway. Gets pushed back right away. Gets low. Stixxay gets hit by the
Wow,
Lysander ultimate.
that
Sowan's
was
still alive. Oh, he finally
that was
got
actually
the
really
first
well
blood
done by
taken
CLG.
Che. Jin Air loses one themselves, though. In Sowan, flash ahead. They can't quite take out Stixxay, though.
That was actually really well done by CLG to avoid
This is
that.
kind of what I mean by Jin Air's really aggressive playstyle. This is
No
an
kidding.
entirely new Jin Air. But they made the call right there. They don't want to give up the Dragon because CLG had been dictating where the pressure on the map was by pushing up both top and bottom waves. So Jin Air just makes an extraordinarily aggressive call. They get the first blood trade 1-for-1, but they get control over the Dragon with the Callista. So it should be pretty easy.
Let's see what I tried to. Let's see what they did here. Let's think about the thought process here. We have Jin Air who's getting pressured, like they said. They know that they scale, or they get outscaled, which means that getting 5 dragons is actually a pretty damn big deal. They lost setup here, so they used Sohan to try to get this, right? Now, see, what I can say right now is what I thought was really well done by him was actually getting a traded kill 1-for-1, even if you lose a dragon. And it could have been way worse for CLG with that flank with Jin Air created.
Because an Alistar can easily take care of a Riven.
Oh yeah, especially with exhaust stuff, so kind of strange team fighting there from CLG, but we'll see it. Not too much loss there, just a dragon in the end.
Well, it's a pretty close game still overall. Obviously, we see the gold is close, the towers are even, kills are even.
Stixay down at the bottom, that leaves the rest of the map to be played 4 against 5, and Green Wings trying to take advantage of that by sieging this top lane tower.
Yeah, and they do have the TP up on Kuzan, so he just went back to base.
We have a wave bot lane,
looks like they'll get the pink ward,
which Stixay is getting. Now, here's the problem. Okay, so CLG pushed out, like Monty said, pushed out bot, pushed out top, and rotated mid. So they're not going to lose too much farm. So Jin Air has to make the quick decision to, okay, now we have to go mid and try to help this. And it's like, okay, now we're going to make this play, take Dragon and recall. Look at the CS though. By doing this, okay, Huhi gets, you know, hurt because they're sharing farm mid. But Stixay gets to be ahead, first of all. And then Tarshan's not massively behind either. And Jax is gonna shit on Riven later.
Smithy could turn around, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, there are a lot of wards Jin Air has in the top river. They're not going to be going beyond that point. That's where they control the vision. They just saw Aframu standing behind that Baron pit, and so they're not going to be too terribly aggressive right now. And see what they can make happen in this mid lane. Lots and lots of vision coming down for Jin Air.
Yeah, still just
remember what I said. Kuzan has roaming priority, and he's doing nothing with it. I actually kind of dislike. I really dislike that. That's one of the big things you can do with Lissandra.
Both teams to guess where the jungle is. There's no reason for Rek'Sai or Lee Sin to be in the bottom side or the right side of the map rather. So they have to be.
And Stixay is just honestly, he's just keeping this wave pushed near here. What this does is, first off, it keeps him safe. He's Ashe. He can't push out far away and then expect to escape. And then what CLG is doing is that they're just having Darshan safely farm top. Safely farm with Stixay. Make sure their support cast is near top and mid in case something happens there, and it's so simple. And they keep some vision in their red jungle. I'm sorry, their blue jungle. And they're just slowly progressing to this game.
Trying to make picks because Ashe is pretty useless if you're not going to pick somebody off.
Now, we talked a little bit about the 1-3-1 already, but, I mean, Jin Air already has the first dragon. They do have all that CC, all that engagement.
Sorry for yawning so much.
So I feel like dragon fights are going to be pretty dangerous for
I'm Jin Air.
in the future too.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Doa. And
obviously, next dragon, that's a big priority. That's a fight that you want to take.
And to force CLG to fight them repeatedly in the river, because that's when their CC really shines.
Yeah, now CLG do have the tools.
But I just want to see them do something else. You have teleport on Kuzan. You have ways to flank them. You just have to secure some deep vision on one particular side and then go for blade.
Especially with his zero ultimate, then they can kind of turn the fights around. But we need to see who he then control the team fight and not just panic ulti this first enemy he really sees.
Yeah, Che has been doing a lot of roaming this game so far.
Tons of roaming.
Yeah, I mean, just look at his build, Sightstone and Moby Boots. So he's been all over the place, getting the deep wards in.
Now they're swapping back, but Dragon's coming up in 2 minutes, which means that the bot lanes are probably going to switch back to bot lane eventually. Either that or they'll want to try to get top lane done. But there's no way they're doing that.
Speaking of Callista, she's got that blade now right about 1:30 away from Dragon. Doesn't look like Stixay is going to have any big items finished by then.
It's going to be really hard for CLG to contest this next dragon.
Yes, it would
Darshan
be.
Probably not going to be finishing the Trinity Force quite yet. And then we also have the fact that Solon will have finished his Black Cleaver. So this is a really good time for Genera just to get on top of that dragon early. They already control the vision around that objective, and CLG trying to take mid.
Yeah, they're pushing forward here.
They don't have bot lane pressure. Their top lane pressure isn't there yet.
Teleport coming in, top right, left of you.
Yep, this is a good chance for them. Remember the pulverizing I told you guys about? Like, that's actually a legit problem that Jenner has to deal with.
So much going on. Really good use of displacements from CLG. Predictive pulverize instantly on the Lissandra, then the arrow
that's why you pick it. Alistar into
right now we saw CLG
Lissandra, there we go.
You do that. They said, okay, Smithy, you take care of the Riven. After you got Lissandra.
Oh, are they going to get it? Of course they are.
Smithy's dead. That's greedy by CLG to try to secure vision in that area. Okay, so Dragon's gone in 20 seconds. Top wave is going to crash. Bot wave is crashing, but it looks like they got Darshan just in time to get it.
Take a lot of damage at the very least. 6A and Aphromoo trying to stop this one. Suwon getting very, very close. Pilot there as well. And yeah, that turret's getting taken out.
At Jenner, this is such a different team that we're used to casting.
They need to go top now. CLG needs to send someone top to get that wave.
They know what they want, and they will just all in you. At
bit late.
You've got to be ready for it.
This Jenner kind of reminds me of like Champion Spring KT Rollster from like last season.
Yeah, I definitely like that they wait with the engage on the flank. Many teams, when they teleport, they feel forced to immediately go in, but so on. He kind of waited around a little bit for his team to then make the first move, and he just was a threat on the top left side of your screen. Good disengage from CLG, but
okay, it's good that he's gained most of this farm.
Anywhere close to dying.
Now, if I'm CLG, how do we want to play this out? So, they do want to contest third dragon, which is going to come up past the 20-minute mark. Darshan will have Triforce. You will have IE on Ashe. What will Jin Air have, most likely? They might have Hurricane on Kalista. Not sure what they'll have on Kuzan. Not sure what they'll have on Riven. Maybe Tiamat. But they do want to fight the third dragon, most likely. And the way they're going to have to do that is they need to have prior setup, and they need to have secure vision behind them. They can't get flanked again.
They're basically looking at a possible, what, like 32-minute fifth drag right now.
Because that's really the main way Jin Air engages. It's through those flanks, like I mentioned before. Like their main way of engaging is flank with Lissandra or flank with Riven. Those are your two options. In this case, they flanked with Riven both times. Now, what CLG is doing consistently with their composition is looking to go mid and then look for a quick pick with possibly Ashe or getting mid tower, and then you can spawn the Azir tower, and then you can kind of snowball that a little bit.
I like it when teams go for skirmish comps in a game 1 of a best of 1.
Meanwhile, CLG is consistently splitting with Darshan, and he has Triforce. Can he fight Riven? I want to say yes, but I'm not entirely sure how that actually plays out with between these two.
We'll save whatever else we have for later games. Looks like Darshan should be able to get this turret.
Yeah, nice move by CLG. They know that there's not any pressure on the top side. They see the Kalista
Yep,
up there.
good.
So
like Monty said, good decision by CLG. When you don't have any pressure on the top side,
Nicely played.
Yeah, I think
you can easily just rotate to bot while keeping someone mid just to keep it safe. It's really like it's just really simple map rotations. And I mentioned also before this game that one way CLG wins this game is with the map rotations, because that's what their composition is going to be good at. What Jinner's composition is good at is getting quick picks and good flanks to take advantage of CLG's backline.
Coming up with sticks A to this top lane, but there's really nothing they can do to save this turret.
Now, CLG did take a while to actually respond to this top tower, so now it's gone. Darshan is still free farming and still getting stronger, not being abused by the Riven. Even the bot lane wasn't really abused, and Hui has finally caught up. This is actually pretty good in my opinion for CLG.
Easy rotations, map plays. To really effectively shot call in a 1-3-1, you can't do that with just one shot caller. You need everybody to know and understand the way your team wants to play the game, and you can see that CLG is kind of trailing on the play.
Yeah, Sohan too has been playing around his vision extremely well this entire game. He's not really pushing out past his ward line. Che has always been there with those Moby boots to start pushing the wards forward so that he can match the farm. But there hasn't really been an opportunity to get
Sohan has been doing a good job in that situation.
And
remember, next Dragon, CLG should be fighting for it. They do want prior setup to it. If they don't get prior setup, they might get destroyed. Because if they don't have prior setup, that typically means they didn't get ward control either. So that means there could be wards down for being flanked. If I'm Jin Air and they know when Dragon's coming up, so like let's say it's in 2 minutes, they want to secure vision around that Dragon area, and not just vision near the rivers, they want it to be deep vision.
So support for support, I think Alistair can have a greater impact if Afro plays to the potential.
Yeah, quite possible.
Yeah, going for the Rylai second on Huhi too. So it's all about, like you're saying, Crepo, kiting, making sure that Jax has room to move. They are playing around Zion Spartan just like they did yesterday, or Darshan, whatever you want to call him. Call it what you want.
I don't know. I like Zion Spartan, but I know Darshan's name, so it's okay. Can't really criticize that. Mid-turret.
Try number 3 here on mid.
If this was patch 5.22, he would have hit Thunderlords on winged, and it would have done a lot of damage.
They have the time to really get their pushes thwarted in the mid lane because they don't really care. As long as the sideways are pushing, eventually somebody's got to deal with that.
Yeah, and the problem too is that
okay, Dragon's up in a minute. So this is when you want to start looking to see how you want to prepare the wave. So do you want to slow push and then try to pressure a tower or some other area? And then when Dragon comes up, then you have that slow push crashing. Because right now they have a slow push top lane, and if I'm Jin Air, I want to take care of that like now.
Jin Air Greetings would love to have a deep lane ward somewhere in the mid lane to really support.
Oh wow.
Teleport is kind of out of bounds.
They're gonna have to use Riven teleport if they want to fight for Dragon. If I'm CLG and you know this, if they take mid, he should spawn the Zir turret. Spawn it. Excellent. Now they can pressure mid even harder. He missed the arrow.
Yeah, that didn't work out. Shea still in a lot of trouble. Gets knocked up. Pulled back in by the Cliff's ultimate. Meanwhile, Winged over the wall with the knock-up. He bottles everyone up. Shea looking for a chance to re-engage. They're going to take down Xmithy. And Jin Air winning this team fight. 2 kills already. CLG got the turret, but they lost 2 people right afterwards. Oh, maybe more. Shea getting very aggressive. Gets a stun on the Stixxay, but I think he may be able to go. He doesn't get out. So on with a kill.
Actually, this was pretty poorly played by CLG now that I look at it.
You
Look.
can't commit that much to the Kennen when there's a Callista in
Yeah.
the game. Easily yanked out of that, able to come around for the flank and get some damage off.
Pretty much what Monty said. You know,
More importantly,
you're in a situation where you spawn a Zir turret, you have Dragon coming up, like everything is set up perfectly. You just have to siege here or even just rotate towards Dragon and you take it. You can burn Sohan's teleport if you want to. And you don't have even pressure hitting your mid T2 in case they want to trade for that because you have the Zir turret. And you have bot lane sort of pushed in. Like, it was honestly a perfect scenario for CLG to just take Dragon and then just wait even longer. But what happens instead is they go onto Kennen, they get baited, they get flanked again by 2 champions this time, by Lissandra and Riven. They die, and they lose Dragon. Oh man, this is gonna be so bad for them now.
When they could have just denied the 3rd dragon, scaled comfortably fine into the late game. They had no pressure in the top lane, so CLG.
God, they had everything set up. They had good wave manipulation, good wave control there. They had the Zir turret, like everything was set up.
They were on the same page yesterday. We're not really seeing that as much today. I mean, things look a little bit more like you'd expect from a team that had just had a lot of big rosters.
So they burned teleport on Sohan.
Jin Air Greenwings though, because we're faulting CLG here, but zero hesitation on that play. Immediate
It's gonna be hard to split against Darshan still.
The turnaround play, teleport comes in. This is the 30
a really good choice now is targeting the Baron. Specifically baiting out the Baron, because they have so many ways to just hop across walls and to quickly burst someone down.
They're so dedicated to reacting to the plays that CLG has made that they have this lack of hesitation. But you have to be really, really sure that
Yeah.
you want to do what you want to do, because we've seen that Jin Air, they're just going to go all in no matter what. If you try and make a play, they will be there no matter
Another
what
pause.
to try and counter it.
You know, and I
Great.
feel like this is what we see from a lot of quote-unquote new teams in the Korean scene, too.
It's too
You
bad,
see a
because
lot of
honestly, CLG
extreme
is making some
aggression,
good
extreme
calls here.
Sort of, brawling
They're just kind of like
compositions
fumbling
this,
the
too.
execution.
So it's interesting seeing that kind of brought to an international event, because we haven't really had a Korean team in this position like Jin Air right now get to play in a situation like this.
But very often teams that play this style, they get a lead, but then they lack the macro game to close it out, and then you get to the mid game where items like Quicksilver Sash can be pursued, or supports just rack up a little more defense and resistances, and suddenly that hard engage, that zero hesitation.
Head coach of
doesn't
Gambit
one-shot your
looking for an
opponent.
analyst.
Then you start struggling.
Yeah, and I think that's why
Interesting.
if Jin Air gets through here, I feel like they're going to have a tough time against Origin. You know, I mean, Origin is so good at the mid and late game that obviously we're still in game one. It's a while yet. CLG could definitely take this. But if Jin Air happens to make it through, you're absolutely right, Crepo. I think that style, while it's fun to see, it's kind of tough against a team that's more stable like Origin.
Yeah, and just generally in the late game, there's so many items that counter that hard engage, just full on CC, just everybody gets merc threats potentially, or you have
Oh, well.
says Mikhail's picked up by a support, you know, Lissandra ulti can get negated, Cannon stun can get negated. The range advantage for Ash.
What can
has
we
is
say about,
Ballista,
like,
starts
we
playing
know
more dividends,
CLG
later in the game.
Very true.
will outperform Jin Air in the late game. That's for sure.
But they look
Jin Air has harder ways of executing a victory the later this game goes.
Maybe you should put on your glasses, Crep.
The only savior they have right now are those dragon counters, because they can wait a little bit later to get 5 dragons, and then all of a sudden it's 5 dragon powered team. Like, that's always going to be difficult to deal with.
Middle of the stage.
Is that how it's shining?
That's exactly how it's shining.
That's the symbol you're going to make right there, like a
symbol
beacon of hope.
Now, if Jin Air keeps making these good
year.
teleport
Your
plays,
screen is gray and you doubt your progress. You
they
just
have
go
a
right
real
to
good
trophy,
chance
man.
of just closing out and winning this game.
Do you have like a printout of a trophy like on your room, you know, on the wall in your room? You're like,
But all it takes is one good disengage attempt by CLG, and then they re-engage with, like, let's say Ash Arrow and
picture of like, you know, a really fancy desk.
quick as 0 damage,
Someday.
Someday,
or Jax
maybe.
follow up. Like, it could be
Like one of
pretty
those
bad.
stand-up desks that you can move around.
Yeah.
Maybe.
A standing desk someday.
Right, please.
I'll be so much healthier.
Come on, Ryan will buy you a standing desk.
Probably.
They
We
can
actually had-
Imagine
we
Dragons
actually
write
had
a
the-
song for the man. They can buy you a standing desk.
We actually had the option to get a standing desk. I opted out of it.
Really?
I like sitting down.
You lied again. You're like, you want to. Hey, look at that. There's a fly better fly flag in the audience. So that, like, you can only get those in Korea, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe the
God,
team
it'd be
brought some,
nice
but
if
yeah, I
we
have
just
one
had
of those,
not
but
these
I've only seen them
didn't
every
have these
year.
pauses, because like
That
this,
is legit Jin Air swag.
I lose out on what I can really
That's
talk
the
about
person. That's
for
cool.
the game, because there's really so much you
Fly better
can.
fly.
I would have brought mine, but you know, this team was announced after I had already left for Worlds, and I haven't been home in over 2 months.
You're not prepared. You don't know the inside gossip in the Korean scene. Disappointed.
World Traveler Monte Cristo. I was gonna make some sort of like where in the world is Monte Cristo joke, but we know exactly where you are because of Twitter. So
Oh, damn it.
yeah, so you can't not quite off the grid enough.
I am impressed by Jin Air so far, though.
Oh well.
They
I'll
look
try and make it more secret. Avoid the
very
cameras.
different,
I'm
like
only
Monty
gonna cast
mentioned.
through a voice modulator.
And it's this kind of play that,
I can
like,
see this
aggressive
happening.
play
I can
in
see this
Korea would be
happening.
fantastic.
So that would make
It would definitely make
some of
things
those
more
shows involved
interesting
pretty
for
entertaining,
LCK.
so I think we should do this. Let's make this happen. All right, we're pretty close to getting back into the game between CLG and Jin Air Green Wings. And the question is, we've had a little bit of
Sorry for yawning yet again, but
is this
pauses
kind
are
of
so
puts
bored.
CLG
Nothing's
so
going on.
Crepo, if you're in a game like this and you have a pause, things haven't been going well, does it help? Does it kind of calm you down, help you sort of refocus?
Okay,
You
I'm
can't, like,
gonna
discuss
try
things
to.
openly?
There's different players.
I'm gonna
So
try
there's
to
players that
look
can
at the
pull out of
strategy
game,
again.
due to a pause. That
With
then
Jin
have a
Air,
very hard time
we're
getting
ahead.
into it.
What
I
can
don't
we
know
do?
what the exact rule set is for ESL,
Splitting
but
against
in
Jax
LCS,
is
I don't
actually
think
kind
you
of
can
difficult
allow
because he
to
has
pause,
Triforce now.
unless he goes beyond the crazy distance and the referee
But we
doesn't
also
allow
don't
it.
want to
So
be in a
you
situation
would
where
think
we
a pause
are
allows you to center yourself, but if you can't really talk
grouping
about
up
what's
as
going
5,
wrong, you can
because
think about it, but
they
at the same
have
time, you really need to
Azir, they
share with
have
your teammates, you know,
Ashe,
what you're
they
thinking,
have
how do
Alistar.
you
They have a
push
lot
it,
of
how
ways
do
to
you
disengage
roll?
our engage.
I personally found very often when there was a pause, I just
I
had
think
to
not a
focus
bad
on
option
that
would be,
especially because generally when you're in a game, you have a feel. You know, Dragon's gonna be up.
I'd say
roughly
still work around
at this amount
Baron,
of time. Yes, you can check the time.
have
but
Riven
off all your
split, but be
internal-
very
Yeah.
safe in
your-
the split
your-
push. He's
your
not
ins-
really going to be
your
trying to
instinct
fight the
intuition
Jax.
kinda gets ruined by this pause.
Jax says Bork, that lane is done. Like, I don't think Riven could really get away from Jax at that
You have
point. But
pauses, intervals, so
until then, I think he's fine.
Just, the internal timing.
30-second intervals.
Push with
I feel
4.
like he's dead so much that it feels like
If he just clears out the waves, back out.
Dragon was going to come up 3 minutes later, but it was up 5 minutes ago. Oh.
But then again, if they do push his 4, there's the off chance that Stixay will just Ash Arrow,
What do you play?
and then they'll call a teleport with Jax, Darshan, and then they might have a really good proactive, strong play.
Sorry to compulsively lie. Yes. I don't know if that makes it much better, but I don't know.
They probably just want to secure vision and apply a lot of pressure with Lysandra flanks and Riven flanks.
Bit of Bard, that's good.
Force CLG to get scared around their turrets, and then possibly back off.
The skilled Bard players
If I'm
kinda like the
CLG,
scene
we
already.
want to look for those Ash Arrow picks. Like, it's a big deal. They can definitely destroy, like, kill someone very quickly.
Yeah, that's right. Wow. Good Korean reading job there, Monty. Nice. Well done.
Kind of like slouched into my chair too,
So I'm sad because actually one of the best Bard players is
just
Jin
because
Air's
I'm
support
I'm
player.
getting lazy here, because
That's
it's just
true, but he's not here.
still talking about the same thing over and over again.
Sweet is a very good Bard
About, okay, what should CLG do? What should
If we're going off topic anyway,
Jin
it's
Air
maybe
do?
actually a good thing
Thinking
that
about all
it's
these different
now. Yeah,
hypotheticals.
if we're in this, in for a penny, in for a pound. I love playing Bard against Azir and Ashe, for example, because the whole reason kite champions are so strong because they can literally kite you, but it negates it so hard. You can just ulti them, and then you can still decide: do we close in and one shot them? If not, we can back off. So there's options to kind of opt out of the play. Whereas this composition that Jin Air Greenwings are running right now, you better be damn sure you're right about your engage, or you're gonna lose the fight horribly. But so far,
Okay, Krepo,
So
talking about
somehow
Bard.
Jin Air has lost 2% in the fan vote after doing pretty well so far in the early part of the game. Like, I think CLG will bring it back.
Well, it's counter logic, right? So the
Because-
logic was that they're winning this game currently. So you have to go
Oh
against
my
it,
God.
therefore start gonna start.
This is making
voting for
my
CLG.
It's just like
my
they
VOD
say,
review
you gotta lose to
pretty
win.
boring
it's
to
the pause.
watch. Oh
Everybody
man.
gets on their phones and starts voting for CLG instead. Here we're in NA audience.
That's true. Like, I believe
Not
it'll come
surprising though. I
back.
will
Jin Air,
get bored
waiting
watching this.
patiently, Typing something. He's like, please send food, we're starving in this booth. This pauses so long.
Now you can read keyboard. He said they're ready and we're going to get into game
okay.
really soon.
Wow, you're really good at this. And there we are. We're back in game. Krepo, for once you didn't lie to us. There it is. Jin Air versus CLG. Jin Air
Okay,
pushing ahead
thank
on this
God.
tier 2 in mid lane. We'll see if they
What do
keep
we
it
have? We
up.
have
I don't know if
Runons,
it's quite the
Zhonya's.
time. Meanwhile, Darshan getting
Two
a bit of
big
farm in the
spikes
bot lane,
for
pushing that wave back in CLG's
Jin
favor.
Air.
They're gonna try and dive topside actually.
That was
Nice
that way.
spike
6A could be in a
for
little bit of trouble,
Hui,
6A rather.
because he's gonna be able to kite even more effectively.
Moving on the map around CLG because they can't actually set up for a 5v5 siege with this.
Now here we go. So this is what Jin Air has decided to do. They've decided to look for flanks while pushing a turret versus doing the split push, which I mentioned when I was originally thinking about it. I was like, okay, you could probably maybe do this, but when you actually really think about it, it's way too risky, and it's more beneficial to CLG.
Mid laner has to teleport. Kuzan may have to teleport down bottom, but he can't even one go on Darshan. So actually, effectively, a trade here, and that's fine for CLG. They keep the gold gap roughly 1,000, I believe.
Yeah.
500 gold right now.
And that's something that Darshan's been doing very well this tournament. Is he has
Yeah.
been such a threat in
He
this split,
is
taking
splitting
out
this game
inhibitors,
very
got
well,
rid of
and
them
his
yesterday,
pressure is
and
gonna
really
keep
knowing his limits well. He's
building
not
up.
overextending. And he's not been very vulnerable to ganks. And that was a
Huhi,
big
can
problem
you
at the World
please stay
Championship.
near the
Yeah,
turret
CLG
still?
making sure there are no deep wards behind them. They don't really want to facilitate any fancy
Unless
Riven or
they're
the Sombra
baiting
flanks.
Baron.
So good vision control right now.
No, no,
They're
no, why did he
making sure Baron
recall?
doesn't get snuck out. So overall,
Oh, he's getting Shiv. Okay, he's getting his power spike, but
They are hanging out
what was the
well
point of the
in
Zir turret? That felt really weird.
They've got a few deep wards in on Jin Air's side too.
Felt like a big waste.
So overall, CLG, I feel like for the moment anyway, has.
Because
more
what I
or less
thought they
the-
were gonna do is if they kept
Fourth
Zion
dragon
bot
will
lane,
three Dragon Knight-
they
Dragons
pop a
already
Zir
right now.
turret
If
and
they
then they
can get the
rotate
fourth
towards
one,
Baron.
you then
And if
see
they
the
clear
success
those
rate. If
wards,
CLG
it can
steal
be
one dragon,
really
I think they're actually in a comfortable position
hard
to
decision
be favorites in this
for
game.
Jin Air.
I mean, that one dragon pushes back the 5 dragon time.
And even if they didn't want to do that now, like let's say they wanted to get those spikes like they just did,
have a chance of winning.
Yeah, they've got
save
to
the
start
Zir
setting up,
passive
though.
still.
Jin Air should
That's such a good play.
try and clear out that bottom side so that
Anytime
Solon
you can
just
split
keep
the
on
decision
pushing
of the
forward more
enemy
safely.
team, you're doing
It's all
something
about
right.
that bottom side control on the map right now, making sure you can get rid of some of these pink wards inside the Jin Air jungle.
You know, the funny thing is there's really not much vision at all near dragon at the moment.
Both teams hovering around Baron because at this point in the game, this Dragon you don't want to trade for a Baron, but once you get number 4, you can actually opt to give away Baron and just rush a Dragon instead and get 5 Dragons.
Yes, that is true,
Your split
Grapple.
push is physical damage. You don't struggle at all clearing those Baron buff minions.
Darshan taking a bit of damage right here, and so on. Playing pretty aggressively, but no one actually moving over because Jin has had constant eyes on the members of CLG in that topside jungle because Che, with those boots of mobility, did get some deep wards in. And so they see that there's not really...
Sowan is doing a good job here.
Right now.
He's keeping Darshan at bay. And if he's applying pressure, then that's going to help Jin a lot. Because then that's going to give them more free reign to look for baits on Baron and for picks.
Completely blacked out the Baron, forcing the Hawk shot.
Yep.
If I'm CLG, what do we want to do? I mean, you want Darshan to split. Like that's like the easiest thing you could say. The next thing you want to do, you do want to just do a standard 1-4 if you're CLG, but you do need to make sure you have wards ready at the side so you're not getting flanked. Because that's the scariest thing, is getting flanked by such a team that has Riven, Lissandra, and Kennen.
They recalled with enough time to get everybody over to that Dragon right as it spawns. So they are just going to keep
no vision secured for either team, really.
Know how important this is to their composition.
And they already have, look, they have a ward by Grump right now. They want to get a little bit better ward, though, in order to give a flank. So look, CLG puts a pink there that gets rid of that one. Notice where he's going right now. That's it. He's getting a deep ward in. That's for a flank.
Yeah, they're going to try a flank, but it's not going to work.
Oh.
That arrow. That's not good for CLG.
You can't take that arrow. It's a Kennen with a lightning rush and boots of mobility. There's like zero chance that you're even going to hit that Kennen.
And even if you do, there's still a Eclipse on the map that you haven't seen.
Too.
Yeah. I don't know, Stixay.
Well, Jin going for Dragon. Xmithy onto Jay. He's going to try to kick him in the take him out immediately.
That was good.
Catch by CLG.
That was very good, and they just burned teleport.
But he doesn't get the flank. And CLG
Now he has a flank.
Oh, Darshan has a flash away.
That was smart of him flashing. Eliminates the chance of him getting caught out, but
pushing up the mid lane, so they're going to make him pay for it at least.
Well,
they're going to go for Baron. Yeah. Well, there it is. No quick 5 Dragons for Jin at any rate.
They need to set up a pick here. They can't actually do the Baron. They're just going to try and bait it.
they took Dragon, right? Yeah. That was good pick by Xmithy.
Smithy's taking a safe path. They probably saw them on the edge of one of the
Very
boards,
good pick
moving
by
on.
him. Now you notice there's Jin they try to get their own pick, because if they get something then they'll just take Baron. Very well done by CLG. Very well done.
From CLG, they actually managed to quarter him in the end after that arrow. So that is a huge Dragon takeaway from CLG, and it might buy them the time to win.
Disrespect from Shadow. You can't afford to get picked off as a supporter with flash up. Yes, you really like the flash ultimate plays, but right there your objective is to secure.
They're starting to do Baron.
Don't let yourself get picked in.
Not a lot of mana on Huhi.
This is panic Baron.
Their damage isn't very good though, at least for burning.
Seems a bit desperate from Jin right now.
And these desperate Barons generally are symptomatic to teams with lesser control of the macro game. They set up a play, and once one play backfires, they kind of result into just hovering around the Baron pit, randomly starting it over and over.
Darshan trying to do Baron.
And look at the waves right now. CLG has all the waves pushing.
He has
down,
Bork
so
though.
control of the map.
He's ready to go in a fight. Though Sowan has Hydra too, so I'm not 100% sure who wins it.
Just kind of stays methodical, stays safe.
I want to say Darshan, but not 100% sure still.
What we're waiting for right now is a defensive item from this Jax, because that's when the scales tip from him being just a split pusher into being a major team fight threat. So a 3-item, 4-item Jax, that's where things get to be very worrisome for Jin, but they have a little bit of time before that happens. But their Dragon stacking really has been foiled by that pick that CLG managed to get onto Che.
And honestly, CLG should have 2 Dragons right now. They should have taken the 3rd Dragon, but they screwed up. Okay, so we don't have Jax splitting right now, which does suck. But
Now CLG having a chance to clear the wards.
Top wave isn't pressured, bot wave isn't really pressured, but they have vision. They have secure vision.
The teleport coming in from Lissandra from behind. Who he uses that Emperor's Divide very early. This could be bad. Afterman trying to keep people away.
Secured it.
There's a lot coming in.
He flashed out.
By CLG, but what's Jinair gonna get in response? They're gonna get quite a bit here. Afterman taking out Hui and the only members of CLG.
That seemed really weird.
That is such a dangerous play with all of the AoE and CC that Jinair has. You get caught in the Baron Pit, and a Ruden's Hurricane Callista is going to rip you apart. Great flash from Che to get in there, and now it's
what I don't understand is why did Hui just ult the Baron entrance?
Yeah, we call it a shotgun composition, and if you can shoot fish in a barrel in a Baron Pit like that,
that's
not that hard.
Not tough to.
I actually don't understand that.
Right in the Baron Pit.
Like Hui easily could have just ulted Baron Pit, deny anyone from entering it, and even if you have to burn 6-Ace Flash, you're fine with that. Because everyone else has a way to get out. Oh, actually, you would have to burn Afro's Flash as well, probably, but like just watch. Like here they come, right? That doesn't deny you anything.
Finding this angle, not even that hard. Pulp misses too, which means that Che easily able to flash in. And you can see Kuzan there with winged in the pit already. Someone gets exhausted, but he's on top of Stixay, and that's an easy kill.
Yeah, Hui also completely whiffed his ultimate. It did 0 damage to anyone.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, not the damage. It's just the blocking. And he easily could have blocked more. Easily.
That would have been a superior usage of the ultimate right there, but just blocking half the river.
Yeah. You just walk 2 steps around it. Then you take people out in the barrel.
Oh,
one important thing to note too is that we do see a couple of early QSSs coming in on So1 and Pilot. Pilot actually went for a 3rd item QSS. Meanwhile, no Quicksilver Sash on any member of CLG yet, and it looks like Stixay
that's also a big deal.
Towards a Bloodthirster, which I don't really agree with here. I think that you really just have to go for the survivability at this point in time, because he's been caught out a couple times now in that back line.
I think I'm being caught up watching the fights more than instead of analyzing everything accurate.
That's not supposed to
So
happen.
CLG, you have.
It's exactly what's supposed to happen.
They definitely have stronger team fight.
No, I like the build, but
Jinair definitely has stronger skirmishing. If Jinair catches someone, they could burn them down pretty quickly.
Because that's a lot of gold you need to sit on. He's basically been operating on boot sides.
Darshan can definitely split push. Actually, I take that back. He definitely. I mean, he could split push, but it's gonna be difficult against Riven still.
For that Aegis, fortunately, Aphromoo already has that, so not going to be hurting too badly. And they're still using these super minions well, trying to make the most of this Baron.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've been doing a little bit. Whoa! Kuzan goes way in there, flank from behind. Jinair catches CLG in that choke. Can they win the fight, though? Hui trying to kite back as best he can, but here comes Che, and that's a lot of CC. Soan goes in. He's going to grab himself a kill before being taken down by X-Smithy.
Interesting.
And overall, this is a messy one, but it's one.
They actually fully committed to that.
Yeah, very nice job just kiting through those.
They're gonna get a lot with Darshan. This is inhib turret.
Yeah, this is gonna be at least an inhibitor for CLG. The Baron buff is
Ooh,
out.
I don't know about inhibitor. Oh no, it will be actually.
And the support in jungle.
No, it's a little risky.
Think they can take the inhib? Doesn't look like that.
Yeah, I was right. It's just a turret.
It's safe.
That was ballsy by Jinair. Just watch. Like, you go in on him, right?
I mean, perfect flank here. See how the ultimate connects. Kuzan gets knocked out. Good cleanse from Hui. And then this ultimate is what you need. Look at the zone right now. Pilot and Che are busy kind of dealing with Aphromoo.
Yeah, he can't go across that too. So he's doing nothing.
Then Soan comes in, but it's too little too late. Kiting,
boom,
and
dead.
Darshan comes from the side with that flank later on. So finally, we see a good Emperor's Divide win a team fight.
Yeah, and also, Kuzan
Wow.
made the choice.
He could have gone Rek'Sai too. That would have been inhibitor for sure.
Well, I'm really surprised they didn't go for that dragon afterwards, but
no kidding.
Chose to use it onto an ulting Alistair, and that is never the decision you want to make. I think he panicked a little.
Very
bit
interesting.
Hit by that Emperor's Divide, but you have to save that
So,
ultimate.
you have Jinair who wants to commit. Hui actually does a really good ult. And again, their composition's built around disengaging and escaping these flanks. I thought the flank by Sohan was good, but the problem is the Hui ult. I mean, nothing else to say. It was all Hui in that fight. He gave Darshan more than enough time to just TP and then wreck the back line.
Right now, you can sacrifice the dragon to at least salvage the map and maybe look towards the Baron next.
Well, the question then has to become, was it worth opening up that inhibitor to give up that 4th dragon? Because now you're playing with the sword of Damocles over your head for the rest of the match.
The answer is no.
Okay.
I
What
tend
are
to
the
agree
next
with you,
plans?
I tend to agree with you.
Baron's up in 2 minutes. From CLG, you have an open mid inhib, but the problem is if you commit a little bit too far into their base, flank options are easier to achieve.
That's what a dragon is. It's a mythical fire-breathing creature.
You're giving us all kinds of definitions today, Peppo. SpongeBob, dragons.
I educate, you know. The average viewer may not know what we define as a dragon.
This is why you're the analyst.
What do you define as a drake? Because you're European.
We call it Drake, actually. A mediocre rapper with very funny dance moves.
All right, that was good. That was exactly the right answer, I think.
Baron up in a minute. They're just gonna wait till Baron.
We have something similar for our definition
And
of pitbull.
the funny thing is, that's actually an advantage on both instances for
Darshan
CLG.
pushing
If
down this mid lane.
Jin Air starts
They
Baron,
can
it's
go
good for
ahead and
CLG
put,
because they have
on the
Azir.
bot lane. That
Azir
sets up
shreds
nice
the shit out of
defense
anyone
that's
doing
coming
Baron.
up in about a minute.
They
For
don't
now.
TP on Zion Spartan. He's a little bit late here.
You gotta be very careful. Very careful of your flanks.
Aframo in this choke is in such a good position though, and CLG can carry back to the Azir turret.
They don't have the pressure of the side lanes right now, which does kind of suck. But with Darshan grouping and he's actually strong, if Riven tries to go on any of them, then he's just gonna do counter strike, and he'll just stun them. So here we go.
Jay goes in right away. He's got that Zonia, so he's safe doing it. Who he uses the Emperor's Divide, pushes some people back. Xmithy on the run, but this doesn't look too good for CL.
Darshan lived.
Sixay, though, gets that kill, and they're actually turning it around here.
Not
It
smart.
was
That's
so
not
close,
smart.
but they get the inhibitor and
Like,
they
I
take
know
the fight. Now
Jin Air
Jin
wants to
Air
contest this, but you can't engage in the front.
Hitting him with several ultimates, but he just barely managed to live
Yeah,
through it thanks
look
to
at
the
those
Stairs
health bars.
Gauge.
Yeah, really good locket timing from Afro. At the very end of that fight, locket plus heal, and this is what we were talking about. You can't come from the front door. It's so easy to kite backwards without flash even on sticks.
Yeah, you need it. Remember what I said about Jin Air? Their composition's completely based on...
And they still won that fight.
Yeah, I really thought that was going to go
Hui.
Jin Air's way. Those health
Okay.
bars started
Their
dropping,
composition's
but it was like
completely
there was a
based
kindred
on
in the game, even without the kindred,
flanks,
somehow CLG
which are
was
harder
still
to achieve.
alive.
It's a harder composition to play compared to CLG. It's we just need to set up and get ready to fight, get ready to disengage. It requires more. Like both compositions can be a little bit difficult, but CLG is probably easier to achieve.
Should be able to claim a much
Free
more
Baron.
comfortable Baron here.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Very.
CLG, they've
This
made
is
some
good.
errors in this game that they
They're-
really have to
They
make
have
up.
this game
They
in
played
their
a
hands, in
little
the palm of
bit
their hands.
too
They can win
aggressively when
this.
They should have just been trying to stay back and control the minion waves. But overall, they've proved pretty patient since those couple of errors, and now they're looking quite good and in control of this game.
Yeah, and it just
Yep.
shows you the difference in power levels late game of these team comps. You just can't compare what an Azir and Ashe bring to the table with that the third threat right there. That Jax that can really tear apart the fight alone in the backside. And it's so hard to reach them, especially when you have Aframo.
They do have a lot of strong sustained damage. Like Ashe, good sustained damage. Azir, great sustained damage. Jax, pretty much he's there to just control the Riven. And then you have Aframo, who's there to control Lissandra. So you have two champions that are there to control
Yeah, I mean,
the
I feel like
enemy's
we've
two
seen kind of
main
what we
damage
expected out of
sources.
this series in the first game. We've seen it be a
And then
little bit
Kalista,
nasty, a little bit back and
if
forth,
she
but
walks
overall
up
just a
too
very
closely,
close
Azir's
game
just gonna
between
fuck her.
these two teams.
Yeah, it'll be fun if the rest of the series ends up being this close too.
Yeah.
And now, what kind of Jin Air viewings really do? The only way they've won fights in the past is flanking, but right now because the mid lane is getting pushed in, somebody's always has to deal with
Did
that.
they just zoom in,
The
or am
side
I
lanes
just...
are thinner and more easily dewarded. It's
Okay.
easy to spot somebody coming. So
Never mind,
gonna
it's
be really
just
hard for them to get
Smithy
dewards
looking really
sufficiently so
big
that
as
CLG
Lee Sin.
can't spot the flank.
Yeah, and not to mention that this next dragon has to be fought while CLG has the Baron buff and has total vision control over that bottom side. So CLG can afford, they've got the inhibitor down already, so just go ahead and wait here.
They have massive spike on Azir with decap.
Have confidence that you're going to win in the late game.
Yeah, wow, meanwhile we've got a duo
Holy
going off
shit,
in the top
they're
lane between
spending
these
a...
top laners. Teleport comes in for Kuzan. Can they catch him?
Oh no.
They're gonna catch him again. Can Swan finish him off? Not quite yet.
Oh, this is not good.
There's the flash, there's the stun.
And when I mean not good, this is not good for Jin Air. The second you're committing both your flanking type champions,
Here with the Riven actually coming in from the, well, where is it? From the flank.
he's not gonna do anything though. Okay, Lissandra just got back now, but it's just...
But can they get fifth dragon now?
Yeah, this is gonna be the big... Ooh. Never mind, maybe this actually would be... Ooh. He's dead. Holy shit.
Shay comes in from the side though. Here's Jinair's plan. Kuzan engages again. Xmithy's still looking a little bit in trouble, but Sixay's got a great.
They're fine.
The wall with those auto attacks. Kuzan tries to find something. Here comes Swan from behind. Oh,
wow.
Kill for Stixay.
Just, this is incredibly... This is actually a really interesting game to watch. Because you have Jin Air who makes a really quick call to target Darshan to eliminate that split push pressure, and then they have to contest Dragon 5. But then CLG understands that if they don't do anything about this, they are in a terrible position, so they go straight onto Wing. Wing shouldn't be here. They kill Wing, and now Jin Air kind of knows, like, we have to kill them now. We can't give them setup for this, or else we're not going to touch them. But the QSS was so well done.
Two-part mechanic where you can actually QSS out of the stun part of the knockup.
And Afremu's headbutt there stops Kuzan from actually activating his E, because he probably would have killed Stixay.
He went right when he should have went down, so
just really, like, the individual plays are actually pretty good.
But it's been good enough, you know, it's been barely good enough to contribute to these team fights. That second dragon taken by CLG, so crucial here. Still a close game, but CLG holding the cards right now.
Well, again, another fifth dragon denial. CLG has been, they've been clutch on these dragons when it really mattered.
Holding on.
Yeah, they managed that, because if Jin Air gets that fifth dragon, the game may be over at that point, depending on how fast and how hard they can push. Inhibitor back up now, though.
Well, we saw another fight, too, where a lot of CLG members ended with, like, sub 1/4 of their health, too. If there's a fifth dragon buff on Jin Air, those people are dead.
Yeah, luckily for CLG, though, there's very little poke on the side of Jin Air Green Wings, and
true.
Fifth Dragon really becomes strong when you have poke champions that can just keep refreshing that debuff, and Jin Air Green Wings, they kind of gotta go all in, so their all in gets marginally stronger. So Fifth Dragon isn't the worst thing in the world that can happen. Obviously, you don't want it to happen, but if there's any composition that you want to give it to, it's probably something similar to what the...
I know some people are going to be saying, like, you know, this is a clown fiesta, you know, these teams are making mistakes, but Jin Air made some really good teleport flank calls. CLG definitely made mistakes in terms of execution, because they could have 3 dragons to 3 dragons versus Jin Air.
4-item Ashe compared to 4-item Kalista,
And they even could have secured Baron without losing as many people.
Especially with the peel from literally anybody else.
But honestly, like, it's just some parts of this game that I just find great to see teams identifying to make quick decisions and be proactive in their plays. That's the kind of teams I enjoy watching.
Well, it's really just
Not the teams that sit back and try to play reactive.
Helpful already. I mean, we saw it actually saved his life in the last fight in the mid lane.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a hybrid item, just like Jax. It turns defense into offense, you know. You get that proc if you get bursted down, and you see Darshan, he gets to the backline. They're left with no choice other than to focus him, and then he gets the full value out of that Starius Gauge.
Yep, definitely. Alright, CLG. Looking a bit nervous. Looks like there's going to be a recall going in for Xmithy. They need to get ready for that Baron. 1 minute away. And if they can grab this next Baron, I feel like they might just be able to do enough with it to close the game out.
It's all about the vision control and choking them out, but they haven't actually denied that many wards around the Baron in the top side right now. They have one.
I haven't talked for a little bit, but just to say, the closeout for CLG here at this point
are going to be up quite soon. They will be up by the time that the Baron spawn.
is very straightforward on how they want to approach
Yeah,
this.
is really still
They can have
any other
Zion Spartan
game as we
split
get
push if they
into
want to,
six-item territory. Yes,
and then
CLG definitely with an
Orchid's
advantage
4.
right here, but remember, Jin Air still
Preferably
on the
wanting
cusp of
to
that fifth dragon.
have Darshan
Yeah,
split
but some of the wards
and
here that Generic
rotate to
players are
them.
starting to fade. They're left with one
They
or two
have to be
wards here on
super
a 2 at a
careful of
time,
the
and
flanks,
they're
though.
not deep enough to
Very,
really
very
get any
careful
Baron
of the
vision.
flanks.
So CLG, instead of going for the sweeper approach, they just keep pushing the lanes for like 3 minutes.
They particularly want to
You push
stand
out the
near
players, you have to guarantee that there are no wards
chokes,
behind you, because
so
wards
who
only
he
last
can
a
actually
minute.
control the choke point.
Spink ward there
Maybe
in
even
front.
let someone through and then close it out.
Well, meanwhile, duel down the bot lane. Sohan has to run. I don't think he can fight Darshan.
Oh, wow.
Certainly doesn't look like it. Well, Darshan going in, and Sohan has to just flee.
It's at this
And
point where
this
he's
is
not going to
actually
do anything to
Jax, so
Darshan.
it's absolutely terrifying. And this Riven not really going to be able to get into that 1v1. And Darshan, just like he was yesterday, in a very comfortable position.
Yep.
to just
Now, so
threaten
if
the
he's
inhibitors
going to
and
have
split push.
priority in actually beating out
Sohan coming back in
Sohan,
again. Waits, there's a stun. He's going to leap over. Trading a little bit. There's the teleport
oh,
coming
he has
in.
to
Darshan
come in.
wants
He has to
join
come
the
in.
party.
He has to
Darshan,
kill him.
there's a Sterix gauge active.
Oh, he got him.
Gets a kill.
And he
It's
burnt
one for
teleport.
CLG
That's
takes
free
the
Baron.
In the meantime, was it worth it?
Excellent
I don't
job,
think so.
Darshan.
No, and that play from Jin Air right there was very poor because they used
Yeah,
the TP.
they
to
used the
get into that
TP.
bottom
I
side.
know.
They had hoped that So1 would be able to live, get back to the fountain quickly, and then TP over to the Baron. But it didn't work that way. Darshan gets the kill. And then
That's
there's
so
no more
big.
TP to make
Because
it
now that he
into
doesn't
a
have
5v4.
teleport, and you know their main focus is Lissandra, and you
CLG
have
rushing down
Alistar,
the lane
this
right
is
now.
free.
They've got that Baron
There's
buff.
no way
Not a
they'll
lot
lose
stopping
this,
them from taking down this inhibitor.
they will stop this inhibitor take.
Pilot's not going to be able to do it by himself. Jin
Oh,
Air
come on.
may just try to go in here.
CLG
We'll
push
see,
it
though.
further.
Kuzan still has his ultimate.
You
There
just have to
is
keep
a ward
Afro near and you're
behind
fine.
CLG
There you
in the
go.
mid lane, too.
Yeah, but he doesn't
They're
have
just
any
waiting for the extra
TP is
wave.
The problem, and
So
So1
on.
is dead for
Yeah, it's
another
gonna be a
30
while.
seconds. So they've
point.
got it, but I mean, fighting this right now without the ribbon is going to be very problematic.
Looks like they just may have to give up both of their inhibitors.
Yep, you see Afromoose just staying right there. There you go. Look at that.
By CLG in prime position to close this one out.
Yeah, Jin Air couldn't stall CLG long enough to make use of some of these.
CLG has this in the bag. Now they need to just rush Dragon.
Yeah.
So many objectives of single
They
pick.
have
Really
teleport
solid
on
there
Darshan.
from Darshan. We
They
see
also
again
have
the
teleport
value
on
from
Riven.
Styrius
They
goes
might.
from out.
Wait, why aren't they going towards Dragon?
In this game. Probably, I think
Um,
the longest one of the tournament. And there's
This seems like a
Guardian Angel
mistake to
now
me.
On Jack, so yeah, good luck.
What?
killing him.
Yeah, I think that now that the GA is finished, this game is almost certainly over, but it's going to come down to this very fight. And
Wait,
they're gonna
what
get
the
the-
fuck's
I
going
mean,
on
Ash
here?
is not even there.
Yeah, they're gonna get the
What is
fifth
Stay
dragon.
doing in the top lane?
Wait,
I don't know.
Oh my.
He's double lifting. And Jin Air
Wow.
will get the dragon.
I
What
mean,
else?
that is just inexcusable at this stage. You cannot
what the
be
fuck was
there.
that?
That is a free dragon number 5.
That was
Jin Air, sure, you've
ridiculous.
got the 2 inhibitors down,
That
but
is the most ridiculous thing I've ever
That is
seen.
a lot of power in that buff for Jin Air, and that's the type of power you need when you've
This
got
means
some
they're gonna be able to
inhibitors
stall it
two
out.
waves, when you've got
They still
another
are facing
team
2 waves,
threatening
but they
win
have
the
to stall
game,
it out.
And that's maybe enough for Jin Air to win a team fight even.
Well, if they can force it, that's going to be the big question. Because
Yeah,
CLG is going
I
to
think
have to
forcing
play
it
as
will be hard, like
elusive as
Monty said,
possible
but
for the next few
it
minutes.
definitely delays
No
it.
deep ward still.
It's a bit awkward.
What the hell
Coming
was he
through the top.
thinking? Like,
Teleport wards are very far.
you would think that when you're recalling, the first thing you're gonna think is go straight to Dragon.
Standard teleport ward right there above CLG right now. You have side vision. They're pinging
I
potential
have
wards
no idea how you
that,
missed that. I
Jin Air could
really
snuck
have
in.
no idea. And I
So
really
they're aware
hope
of the teleport flank.
CLG
You can
doesn't
see
push
that they will be
this.
very happy. Now CLG's comfortable,
Be
so they-
super
again, they're
safe
speeding
in this
ahead,
approach.
expected to flank
Just
teleport.
starve
They had
tactics,
more
you know?
information.
Sure.
Just wait for the minions and don't press. Just
They
be
have to
safe.
wrap around, but there is an
Because
Azure turret
what's
there.
going on with Jin Air is they
Have a
want to
hard time
fucking
coming.
go.
Looks like Jin Air wants to try to find that flank. They're really hoping. Meanwhile, Darshan pushing down the bottom lane. Jin Air doesn't have a lot of time to make this work. They're going to have to go in right now. They're going to try.
Darshan's not there yet. No, don't re-engage. For the love of God, don't re-engage. Just stay safe.
Start hitting Nexus turrets.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. But have they pulled 2 back?
Oh.
Wing's going to get hit by an arrow.
A follow-up, not quite. They're going to let
They're
Wing
delaying.
go. Again, it's all
That
about
wave is going to be
positioning
pushing, which
Darshan
means
to push
CLG
through
needs to
those
start
Nexus
shoving this
turrets.
top
Baron
wave.
buff's off now, though, so that major threat has kind of faded. And as we see Jin Air still with that aspect of the dragon for a little while longer.
Not too much longer, but yeah. Got some time
They have
yet.
to be so careful here.
Yeah, they do.
Like, basically, as I was
Full-on
saying,
split push from
like,
CLG
CLG
certainly
just needs to
seems
be
putting
very,
a lot of pressure on
very
Jin Air.
patient with their
Look
group
a
of
little bit
4.
confused.
Well,
They
they're
just
defending
have to
their
wait till
Nexus
the
turrets,
aspect
like,
of the
they actually
dragon's
haven't
gone.
taken any damage yet, so it's not
Yeah.
the worst thing in the world. CLG is just giving them the runaround for long enough for that aspect of the dragon
Yes.
to wear off.
And it's gone.
Is it gone?
So they managed to buy enough time.
No, it's
Oh,
not.
it's not quite gone yet.
No, it's
Thought I saw it run away.
It's got about 30 seconds left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just be very patient. Very, very patient.
Teleport flank.
Yep, they're gonna try to come in. TP and
Nothing.
Sean immediately has to back
That's
away.
gone.
Exposed Nexus towers right now. Darshan hitting on it. They have a Rex that can technically teleport in, but he can't deal with the Jax.
Darshan taking some Nexus turret damage.
Now here we go.
CLG
Another
pushing the
pressure.
top lane, though. Here we go. Flash going in. With
Risky.
That ultimate on Che. Che pulled back in by the Fates call. They're gonna throw
Afro's
him in,
eating a lot.
Afro. That is a big target. He's tanky, but they get him. Meanwhile, Darshan dueling by the base. CLG on the run. Kuzan gets a kill on a Hui. This could turn bad for CLG. There's the kills. Meanwhile, can Darshan, what can he do? It's only winged. He's got to flee. That
They
was a
just have
double
to be
kill for
patient,
Solan
like.
up in top.
But how fast can they actually go through? Kuzan still has his TP available.
don't know.
What are
It's
they
a little
going
weird
do
to me.
here?
Like,
Are
you
they
just have to
actually
be
gonna try and
patient if
push
you're
through the
CLG. You
inhibitor?
know
Violet already
that
trying to
Jinair
clear
wants
out
to
his way to the mid
engage.
lane.
Yeah, you gotta
Like,
wonder. I
they
mean,
should
even
just
for
be
Darshan,
playing a
can
lot
he
more
just maybe
passive in
jungle
this
mid lane
sense.
and fight Pilot 1v1?
Well, you could definitely fight Pilot 1v1,
I think so.
but I wouldn't take the risk of TPing. He doesn't know who's going to be backing him up or where people are on the map right now.
It's taking Pilot a long time to push up this lane, so I don't know just how much Jinair can really get out of this team fight win, but those death timers
They'll
are
get
pretty long.
inhibitor.
There's no minions though. If Darshan can teleport somewhere and cut off the supply of minions, then it makes it very hard to backdoor.
Here we go. This is dangerous for Pilot and Che.
Well, Sowan's here to back him up, so
Okay.
they're going to try and just go for this. Well, the
Yeah,
death
he knows
timers
he
are
can't
still
walk
long.
into
Looks like
that.
They will get an inhib in the end.
Yeah, they'll get the inhibitor at least.
And their inhibitors are going to be coming up soon, so this will set them up for a nice Dragon number 5 again.
Oh my god.
This game.
Honestly,
could
CLG
not
would have
be
just
closer
won this
right
game
now.
hands down
Let's
if
watch
they
that
didn't
fight
let
one
them
more
have Dragon
time.
5. But you like
Yeah,
see
key
this,
thing
like
to watch
you
here is
know
good disengagement from
they're gonna
Afro, but
engage.
CLG should stop fighting and just keep running right here. They opt into the fight multiple
Yeah.
times. This
And
ultimate
he
against
has
Hui doesn't
Xmithie
really
has
help
Dragon
anyone.
Rage. Like he
They get close to
easily
flashes,
could have
and
kicked
160 right now.
Solan
He's gonna
away.
walk into the Lissandra AoE after not being
Look, he still has
after
Dragon
being
Rage,
out
like-
of it. So he kind of like sacrificed himself, forget that there's an AoE part.
Need to use that.
Kinda affects him, and CLG again, they didn't have to fight there. Just disengage, reset. You're playing against like a shotgun composition. They just, if they fail at first engage, you have Darshan in the bottom, you can play the game slowly. You have all the tools in the world to just keep kiting over and over again.
And we do see them now. A lot of vision dropped down into the top side by Jinair on that retreat. Everybody recalled. 2 inhibs now back up for Jinair, so they have that map pressure advantage. But again, only 1 Nexus turret left, so Darshan split pushing still a massive.
Oh man.
Baron back up in 30, Dragon back up in a minute, so those major mid-map objectives becoming the focus for these teams.
Now it's starting to become a clown
And
fiesta.
it'll be interesting to
You know,
see
I
what
wasn't gonna
Jinair
say it.
decides
Like
to
at
do
first,
here,
it
what
was
their
fine.
setup is going to be.
You know,
If
there's
they're
some
gonna try and just
mistakes.
ward up the
It was a
Baron
total
and then
clown fiesta.
just
Yeah.
try and dance over to
But now it's
Dragon
starting to become
number
clown
5 or
fiesta
not.
because
No
CLG
flashing
first
Solan,
off
no
let the
flashing
Dragon
Kuzan
5 go
though, and
through.
those are the tools
for
that
some
really
odd
allow us
reason.
to win the fights, to really close that
Then
gap.
they
Once
let,
Stixxay onto Hui,
uh,
flashes up soon. Stixxay operating without a flash, so
They
relying on
weren't
disengage
patient
and
in the team
active
fighting.
silver sash.
Like
CLG
they
has to be
just
very
have to be
careful, though.
patient
They're
when 2
deep
inhibitors
forces,
are
a lot
down.
of TP
Wait out
targets
the
for
Dragon
Kuzan,
aspect, they
and
engage,
if he gets
disengage,
behind
back
them while
out,
Jax is in the bottom
and then
side, they
reset.
can blow somebody up before Jax has a chance to TP in.
Yeah, TP kind of becomes his flash. He has to get behind
But
the
they didn't
target
do
from
that.
Ian from the backside. He's going straight. Afram has been doing
And
a good
Jinair,
job
as I said,
keeping
has a much
Kuzan
harder way of
together.
executing and winning this game.
Has
Now,
Homeguard.
here's a flank. Ooh, this one's gonna be bad. Hui's dead. CLG lost. At least they should lose. Actually, you know what? Oh my god. They're actually gonna win.
He's gonna get the Nexus turrets anyway. Recalls coming in from Jinair. Can Darshan do it? He's
They're gonna win.
away at the Nexus.
Unreal.
Oh, they stop him. Oh, Darshan cleanses away. Can he get
Holy shit. Well done. He's done that so many times.
The most epic camera troll. If you pan over to CLG, it's like, nope. That's still
Wow.
And at near an hour, 55 minutes, the closest game by far we've seen at IEM San Jose and NA staying alive in the tournament. Jinair looking a bit stunned. Can't blame them. If they had been able to kill Darshan, the death timers probably would have been long enough for them to end it.
But what wonderful
Jeez.
stockpiling
I
in a
can't believe he
high-pressure
just
situation
clutched
by
that out.
CLG.
Yeah.
Jinair, they pulled the trigger. They didn't they didn't have vision to kind of see where the Lissandra was coming in from that angle.
They
so
had
it was a
no
bit of a
rights of
surprise.
winning after that
And
fight.
then after that, just having the presence
Wow.
of mind, Xmithy and Aframu splitting up to delay the recall, especially Aframu, which we didn't see on camera, running after Sowan to stop.
I can't even.
Riven's
It's like
recall.
I'm trying to
And even though
VOD
Riven
review
managed to get
this,
back, he
but
just
since it's the
couldn't
first
do
time
enough
I've
to stop
seen
the
this,
Jax. The
and that was
QFS also
so
very
spectacular of an ending,
Lissandra gets back,
it's so hard
leaves
for me to
Riven
just.
Frost for the stun, but they only
It's
had
so
that
hard to
one
analyze that.
CC, and that was just barely enough.
Yeah, just
So
the way
close.
he outplayed that right there, Zion's part, or Darshan as we're calling him these days, just pops the counter strike up, then jumps up to the side, try and kite the one member in the triangle that he actually can get away from, continuously hitting the Nexus, and it was one hit away.
Sure, that's
Really one hit
replay
change.
we're gonna see.
Jeez, I don't know what to say. I'm like, he's done it before against TSM.
Anywhere. Game 2 is coming up in just a bit.
That was clutch. That's a super clutch. Wow. Okay, let's review over what happened this game. CLG makes some mistakes. Actually, wait, did CLG make mistakes in the early? They lane swap. Okay, here we go. They lane swapped. Okay, yeah. So CLG lane swaps. Jin Air doesn't match it. They do They do the 4v0 to compare it to CLG's 3v0. They denied farm in the jungle, so that actually hurt Xmithy early on. They bounced away for Kalista instead of for Riven. So Riven is facing Jax, which is technically in favor of Riven, but I think if they did it with Kalista, they would have been able to push that lead harder. They then took a flank with Riven to get it 1-for-1 in a dragon, so that started the dragon timer. CLG, what happened after that? I would say CLG had made some good choices after that, but bumbled on the execution. Like when they set up a Zir turret, they had top wave push in, they had the option to go bot. But, that was such a good choice for them, good time for them to get third dragon. And then they messed up with the fifth dragon, but Darshan closed it out. Well done by him. Went ahead and